Hey there, Libra. Welcome to your reading for the week of August 9th. This week, we're going to jump right in here, and we're going to use this, the True Black Tarot. This is a new deck, or it's at least newer to me, but I love it, so that's why we're going to use it. And we're just going to see what's coming up for you this week here, Libra. Here's that fire sign that has been showing up in your readings quite a bit, I would say. So if you're dealing with a fire sign, then, they show up in your reading. It could also be someone who has a lot of fire in their chart as well, I feel here, Libra. I feel like it's someone who's very creative as well. If you're looking for love, this actually looks pretty good. I feel like you could be attracting a person who has more, creative intelligence here as well. Because the King of Wands, to me, is the card of creative intelligence. I'm gonna show you all these cards, by the way, these True Black Tarot cards. We'll go through them one by one here, Libra. But I am getting something about, attracting a person who has creative intelligence. Creative intelligence could be someone who's artistic, but usually it's someone who is it's like they can think their way out of anything, basically. And this is on the positive side of things is what I would say. You have this King of Wands here. I feel some of you could be dealing with a fire sign. I kind of get a weird vibe over here, I'm not going to lie here, Libra. If you're dealing with a person who's a fire sign, I feel like they could have some kind of watery traits to them, if that makes sense. And sorry, this microphone doesn't look right, so let's fix it. But anyway, it kind of looks like they have some watery traits, which, I feel like, what I'm getting here, basically, Libra, is that you could be dealing with a person where it's they're not deceptive or anything like that, but I feel like they have some walls, because I'm noticing some walls being built up here. I'm seeing some kind of, I don't want to call it defensiveness from a person, but I'm seeing kind of this, more of a barrier here. It's definitely something that needs to change, or it's something that needs to be worked on. The good news is you have the Justice card here. Without even clarifying, I can tell you, just based off this last row, that it looks like this is something that could easily be worked through. I always tell people, it's as I've been saying recently, and to me, I wouldn't want to be dating right now if I was dating, right? To me, it's crazy out there. So it's if you're in a positive relationship, I definitely encourage people to try to improve upon it. Obviously, if it's abusive or anything like that, please leave. I feel like that should be obvious. I feel like I shouldn't have to say that, but apparently I do. So again, obviously, if it's not right, it's not right. But if it is, if it's positive for the most part, I feel there could just be a little work that needs to be done here. And again, over here, it looks really nice. It looks really good if you're putting in the work, if you're doing things, especially if it's with a fire sign. For those of you who are not interested in love, this is some sort of idea you have here as well. It's kind of funny. You have the High Priestess here. I'm going to show you in just a second, but it popped into my head as the Magician. I put that down, and I was seeing the Magician popping into my head here. And so that's kind of interesting. The High Priestess, she's the card of potential, and she's the card of needing to get started. The Magician also kind of represents a need to get moving, a need to get started. Kind of says hey, it's time to, get moving. So I do feel for some of you, it is time to get moving on something here. King of Wands requires a certain amount of boldness. You have the Three of Swords, High Priestess, and Moon. Really weird story popping into my head. For those of you in a relationship, I feel there has been a disappointment. It doesn't intuitively feel an all-in-out breakup to me. Some of you it could be, of course, but I just get some sort of disappointing relationship situation if you have already been in a relationship or were in a relationship here. And it's and it has to do with something that's hidden. High Priestess and the Moon. Both cards coming up here. So here you have the High Priestess coming up here, and here we have the Moon as well showing up. I want to just show you here, Libra. And you have the Three of Swords as well here in this row. So I do feel for those of you in love who are already in a relationship, there has been some sort of disappointment. It's a little bit of a mystery as well. Like I said, I don't feel this is a total ending, though. We'll talk about that at the end. For others, I feel like you can't figure something out. I feel a major blockage here, Libra. I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to tell you what I'm feeling. I feel blocked. I feel like I can't move past this row, which is really weird. I feel like I can't I feel like I can't see a way out of something as well. It's almost like I feel like a hamster in a tube, not even on a hamster wheel. I just feel like I'm a hamster in a tube and it's like blocked on both ends. It's almost like that you feel like there's no way out. So I do feel like a little bit of a blockage here. I'm just going to move past it. We're going to move on to the next row. We're going to clarify at the end, so we'll probably get more clarity on what's going on here. But I do feel a major blockage in your life. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The good news is it's coming up in your past position. So let's see. You have the Crow Spirit. It says co-create with Spirit here. For some of you, I am actually getting an easy solution right away with this Crow Spirit. The Crow Spirit can represent kind of like, it says co-create with Spirit, but to me, it can represent an extra step. Crows are like the only animal on Earth that can think in multiple steps, meaning, you can give a crow a puzzle and it can think many steps ahead. Other than, humans are the only other animal that can do that. I think there's like a couple others, like octopus, dolphins maybe are like one of the only ones. I don't even think dogs can, are capable of thinking in multiple steps. There's something missing here that is creating a blockage in your life. It doesn't matter if it's in love or something else, right? We're going to figure out what this is, by the way. But I do feel like it's kind of like a step. I don't know if you've ever seen, there are tons of videos going around of crows solving puzzles, and it's like they can think in multiple steps. I'm seeing that in my head with this card here. It's like there's some sort of step that's maybe missing, something that needs to be pulled to release the treat, right? Kind of like for a crow. You have the Nine of Wands, the Death card, and the King of Swords here. I am liking this King of Swords because King of Swords is kind of like about knowledge and wisdom, and it's kind of a card of understanding and discernment. I don't know why it's not focusing here, Libra, but it's like a card of knowledge, wisdom, discernment, understanding something. It could also be you showing up here as well. So it's kind of putting you in a very strong position. You have a lot of this like king energy showing up in this reading as well. And so I kind of like that. It's kind of like dominating, I feel, this King of Swords here. So that's nice. But again, you have the Nine of Wands, Death card, and the King of Swords. And you also have the Justice card over here. This is like law and order. So I feel for a lot of you, there is a rebalancing that's coming in for you here. The Nine of Wands, I feel, is kind of like just a little bit of more of that stuck energy. Nine of Wands is the wounded warrior, and you can see there's like an angry wolf on this Nine of Wands. So I feel for some of you, it's kind of like this is like part of the blockage. I do feel the Nine of Wands is saying don't give up at this time. I feel like if this reading is for you, Libra, again, you're feeling some sort of blockage, whether it's a situation of love. Again, for some, that might be very specific to one of you, where it's like there's a situation with a fire sign. It's like you haven't maybe broken up yet, but I feel like there's some mystery here. I get this very strong, watery vibe here is what I would say. I feel like someone, is kind of like crawling up into a shell. Someone is kind of becoming distant, maybe. But I feel like I'm, like underwater. I am a water sign. I'm a Pisces, so, I know the feeling well. I know the feeling of just wanting to escape, wanting to, hide away in my cave. Like, I totally feel that here. So it could be like a fire sign with water in the chart. Could be a fire sign that's born closer to a water sign or something like that, like a, Leo close to Cancer, somewhere around there. I do feel like communication would help. I mean, I guess the problem with being with like a water sign in general, and I'm hating on myself here, Libra, is that sometimes there is no solution. If you're dealing with someone with a lot of water in their chart, sometimes the problem with water is they kind of have to like figure things out on their own, and that can be a challenge, especially if you're dealing with someone who isn't necessarily evolved. I'm not saying anyone's better than the other, but if you're dealing with water sign who doesn't know how to deal with it, or someone who has water in their chart, could be a little bit of a challenge. I feel that this is a transformation that you're undergoing. I do feel like this reading is encouraging you not to give up. You have this trust card next. I feel like this card is saying trust in the process. There could be some sort of deep truth coming out here. It's almost like I would say the challenge of this reading is that it's like a deep evolution is what I would say. I feel like I said this to you now that I'm saying it, like last week or something like that. It's like something is undergoing a very significant transformation, but it's going to require your work and your action. So it's like, again, I feel like if you're in a relationship, we have the Queen of Wands here, the Justice card, and we have the Knight of Swords as well. I feel like the Queen of Wands is very bold, very assertive. She really puts the work in. Maybe I need to go closer and it will focus, but she needs to put the work in to make something successful. She has to be bold and assertive. You have the King and Queen of Wands here. So it's like divine counterparts. And you have the Justice card as well, which is a card of truth. You have the Trust card here, card of truth. And, I would say here, if this is a relationship situation, I would put the work in if I were you, because I feel like this is something that could easily be fixed if someone's kind of, withdrawing. What I would say here is if you're dealing with a person, maybe you're in a newer relationship here, it's like I feel like this person has maybe past, trauma from past relationships. And again, if they're a good person, this is something that could easily be fixed. With the Justice card, justice is cause and effect. So it basically is your card, number one. But it kind of says here, Libra, that if you put in the work, then you will be successful. It just says, cause and effect. If you stack things on the right side of the scale, it's going to tilt in your favor. And you have the Knight of Swords as well, which I really feel like is saying don't run away from something here. And it could be a relationship. Like I've been saying, this is going to drive me nuts today, but it could be a relationship here that it's saying don't run away from, because the Knight of Swords can represent making a hasty decision, making a decision too quickly, or, kind of like avoiding something when maybe you should give it more time. For others, again, I feel like it's whatever this blockage is that you are maybe thinking about running away from. I feel like this reading is saying don't do it. I feel like you need to kind of like really trust the process at this time. And again, I also feel with the Crow spirit here, it's like there's just like one little thing that needs to be pulled, here for you to get your reward. So let's dig into this here, Libra. This is very interesting. Between the Three of Swords and the Nine of Wands, High Priestess. Number one, trust your intuition. I don't think secrets are very helpful. Again, as I always say, it does take two in a relationship. So if you put in the effort, the other person doesn't, then, obviously there's nothing you can do. But I do feel that you could be feeling like if you're dealing with this person that they're being secretive. I don't really feel like they're being secretive. Maybe they are, but I feel like communicating with them and trying to get them to open up would be a good idea, because I feel like you could do it. For others, I feel like something has great potential. You have the Four of Pentacles, kind of like needing to leave a comfort zone. Again, if you're dealing with this person that I've been describing, I feel like it's not necessarily you that needs to leave a comfort zone. It's probably them, because they're, to me, I think it's both sides, but, I'm not going to go there, right? I feel like it's probably them that really needs to open up, though. And I feel like the only thing you would have to do is open up to them. But I don't think it's as hard for you, is what I would say here, Libra, if you're dealing with a person. For others, I feel like this is saying don't be afraid of change. You have the Moon and the Ten of Swords with the King of Swords. Moon, Ten of Swords, King of Swords. And that is a little bit challenging, is what I'm going to say to you here. It's like a heavy energy. Like I said, I get a major blockage. Like I said at the beginning, a major blockage. But I feel like you need to see that there's like a major benefit in a change. For some of you, you have the Trust card, which is kind of like saying, trust that a change is going to be right for you, whether it's in love or some other area of your life. Ten of Swords, we can consider the worst card in the tarot, but he's making a symbol with his hands right here that represents luck. So it kind of says like, yeah, something is dead, done, over with, but there's also like a lot of luck coming in for you. I also feel like it's saying like, hey, don't be afraid. You could have, I kind of get this, like disappointment energy here, where it's like you've experienced some sort of disappointment. Could be in love, could be in other, work or business as well. I definitely feel for some of you, it's like, if this is work or business, I'm starting to see these like something shatter. When something shatters, it kind of like, zigzags out, right? And so I feel like you're starting to notice these flaws, maybe in career or work or business. Something isn't as good as you thought it was going to be. I feel like you need, like the crow, they kind of represent a jack of all trades energy, and I feel like you need to realize that it's like if something isn't working out for you, it's like there are going to be other opportunities. I think sometimes we hold on to, business ideas, for example, that don't work, and we're afraid of letting a business idea go, for example, right? But I feel like what people need to realize is it's like you're not going to only have one good business idea. You're not going to only have one good career opportunity. You're going to have multiple. So I feel like sometimes we hold on to things, and that's the energy I'm getting here. I feel the blockage intuitively is kind of like holding on to something. It's like the fear of the unknown with the High Priestess. It's like you have a choice, 2 pillars with High Priestess, right? But she has this, this kind of background tapestry, whatever you want to call it, behind her there, and that's kind of like the mysterious part of the High Priestess. Is what is behind her, right? We don't know. What is going on back there? I don't know. We have to figure it out, right? We have to discover it. So I feel like for some of you, this is saying like, don't be afraid to let go of something that didn't turn out as well as you expected. And that's kind of like the energy that I feel. Let's keep this going. Between the 9 of Wands here and the Queen of Wands, the 9 of Wands, Queen of Wands, King of Cups, what do you know? I'm getting this very like watery vibe here. I'm not saying that you're dealing with a water sign. King of Wands is the dominant energy, so it could be fiery, mostly fire, but it's getting this very watery, type of vibe. I feel like there's a lot of love there. It's funny because King of Cups, I think I said King of Wands, but King of Cups, the problem with the King of Cups is that, on the negative side of things, he would maybe hide his emotions. He would maybe hide his, feelings, and maybe he does withdraw into himself, right? So, on the negative side of things, he definitely could do those things. And again, it doesn't matter what gender you're attracted to, by the way. This could be any gender. I'm just describing the traits of what you're dealing with. Between the Death card and the Justice card, King of Wands, right? It's almost like this is the energy that someone you're dealing with is in. This is the energy you want them to be in, right? And by the way, this could be you, as in an idea, something you're trying to create. So if you're not interested in love, you could be in King of Cups mode, kind of like thinking about things, thinking about things emotionally. The King of Cups is like saying, okay, or the King of Wands is now saying, okay, it's time for action. It's time to get moving. Justice is like, it's time to start planting those seeds so that you can start moving forward. You have the 8 of Wands, quick success between the King of Swords and the Knight of Swords here. I do feel like things are going to be speeding up here. I'm getting the word decisive with that King of Swords, very decisive energy. He makes decisions very quickly. King of Swords, as I always say, he has the most wisdom out of all the kings. He is the wisest of all of them. That's why he's able to make decisions very quickly. It's really funny that I said something. I said I was getting like a very kingly energy at the beginning of the reading, but there was only one king here, and now we have 3 kings. So just something that kind of jumping out at me. And what I would say is, I feel like you are not going to necessarily make wrong decisions at this time, is what I would say. So, I feel like you just need to make a choice. People always leave me comments and say, of course you can make the wrong decision. And I'm always like, well, no, you really can't make the wrong decision, because if you made the decision, you made the right decision, because you made the decision. I know it's a mind effort, but you really can't make the wrong decision, ever, in life. I don't care what anybody says. So, that's what I'll say there. But, I feel like this is a very decisive energy. Let's get an outcome here for you, Libra. What is the outcome going to be? Ace of Wands, passion, new beginning. I would say that if there is a lot of passion, if this is a connection where there has been a blockage, a disappointment, mostly due to someone's, state, I would say, like their emotional state or their mental state, maybe they just kind of withdraw into themselves and they don't really open up. I feel like this is something that could be corrected. Ace of Wands, passionate, new beginning. Really good card. For others, I feel this could be new love. Or just something new, because the Ace of Wands can just be a new beginning. You have the Fool, a new beginning, taking a leap of faith, getting started. I feel like there's a lot of success, coming in for you here, Libra. And you do have the 3 of Swords. It's kind of a tough reading. I'm not going to lie, just even intuitively, I feel it here, Libra, where some of you could be making a difficult decision. Here, you could be walking away from a person, again, and going towards someone new. If someone's not willing to put in the work, there's really nothing that you can do in that situation. So I do feel like, I don't want to be a downer today, but I do feel like some of you could be having a little bit of a difficult decision to make, especially if you're in a relationship. For others, clearly, you have the death card here. It's like the most important card in a 9-card spread, this center card here. So it's like you're going through some sort of transformation here. I do want to get more details on this. You have the 6 of Cups. I don't know. Like I said, some of you will have a second chance with this person. You have the Queen of Wands, very bold, very assertive at this time. And you have the Moon. It's a mystery here. You have the Moon twice in your reading. It's a funny reading, is what I'm going to say to you, Libra. It's kind of like you are the one, obviously, that has to make the decisions. Queen of Wands, very bold, assertive energy. I always say Queen of Wands like wholehearted energy. It's like, where can she put 110% of her heart? That's what the Queen of Wands asks you. And so some of you, I do feel that's like the mystery part of this reading. It's like, where can you put all your energy? Where do you want to put your energy? I feel a very indecisive energy on that High Priestess. High Priestess twice, right? I feel very indecisive about that. And so I feel like you could be feeling very indecisive at this time. Queen of Wands, again, kind of is an answer, because she says, where can you put 100% of your energy and be successful? And I feel like some of you need to think about that. And what I mean by that is, it's like, maybe you want to get married, or maybe you want to have a career, but it's like, maybe you really can only have one or the other, or whatever, right? It's like, which one can you invest all your time, effort, and energy into? That's the choice I would make. Maybe you want to start a business, but you have a job. It's like, where can you make that full commitment? I feel like that's where the success is going to come in for you here, Libra. Not gonna lie, heavy energy. Like I said, kind of a weird reading. I do feel like there's something that needs to be like removed here, is what I would say with that crow spirit. It's like a step is missing here. Sorry, and I know that we're going like 20 minutes here, but I'm too nosy. I have to know, like, what step is missing here, Libra? 4 of Swords. Really sitting back and relaxing. So maybe you just need some time for yourself. You have the King of Swords here. King of Swords, again, you making decisions, being very decisive, making choices. And you have the 2 of Swords, just needing to pick the new path. 2 of Swords is your answer. 2 of Swords is doing something you've never done before. She has new lands behind her on the 2 of Swords. She just needs to turn around and see that there's like another way of living. There's another way of doing things. I feel like a lot of people are in this place where it's like we're standing in front of something, like on the High Priestess. We're standing in front of a screen, something that we can't see behind. And it's like I don't know if people feel like there's like weird noises coming from behind the screen, or if they're just not sure what's on the other side of it. But I feel like for a lot of you, it's kind of like needing to, it's like you just, and I think it's one of those things. It's like once you make the commitment to go to the other side, to do something new, it's like there's no coming back, right? And maybe that's like what the fear really is here. And, I feel like there's a need to kind of like leave a comfort zone in your reading. Everybody gets this right now. It's like Neptune and Pisces. I keep telling people, that really, it's like I feel everybody's like waiting for something, like permission to do things, like start a business or to get into a relationship or to have a family. Or it's like people are waiting for something to change. But it's like, I said to someone last week, it's like, you have to be the one that creates the change. You are the only one that can give you permission right now. It's like I said to Sagittarius, it's like the aliens aren't going to land and save us right now. It's like the government isn't going to save us. Nobody's going to save us. It's like we have to save ourselves. I think that's the important thing about Neptune and Pisces that I keep talking about, is it's like we have to be the one to do it. So if you need permission, I'm giving you permission to, start that business, to do something where it's like you're going to these new lands. Because I feel like what you're going to find over there is freedom. Again, not to drag this out, one of my favorite quotes of all time that I'm not going to remember it's Les Brown, one of my favorite people of all time. He says that he tells a story about a man who is captured by an army, and they take him into this jail cell, and a commander comes in and says, hey, you have 2 choices tomorrow. You can either be executed or you can go through this door right here. And the man says, what's behind that door? And the commander says, unknown freedoms. So the man chooses to be, or he says unknown horrors, basically. And so the man chooses to be executed. And the next day, another person says, hey, what's behind that door? And the commander said, freedom. So we are all afraid of freedom. We are all afraid of what could happen when there's, nothing to save us. Like, if we start a business, there's nothing to save you. If you get off the dating market and you marry someone, right, it's like, and you commit to a person, it's like after a certain amount of time, it's kind of like, there's nothing that can save you. So I kind of feel that feeling for you, Libra. Sorry to drag this out, but that's how I'm feeling. I feel like you need to realize that you have a lot more to gain. And you're the second sign I've said this to this week. You have a lot more to gain than you do to have to lose. You know, it's like you're not losing something, is what I would say. Hope it makes sense, because it doesn't to me. but thank you for, if you're still here, congratulations. Thank you for watching, and definitely enjoy your week.